Sean Spicer is the communications director at the Republican National Committee, and he's my guest. Good to see you, Sean. When you hear Nancy Pelosi say that, you kind of scratch your head a little bit because Fred Upton's bill is essentially what the president offered today. So how can one be disastrous and one be okay?
Well, it's actually more than that. It's what the Upton bill is what the president's promise was. So when the president said you can keep your plan if you like it, you can keep your doctor if you like it, that's what Congressman Upton's bill does. What the president said today, and Wendell alluded to it in his piece, is he said kind of the same thing and then put a bunch of caveats on it.
Yep.
Meaning, if you like your own doctor and the following still occur, that happens. But the other distinction, and Wendell pointed out in his piece, is that there's two issues here. There are about 14 million people that buy their insurance on the open market. They're self-employed or they just, for whatever reason, buy it on their own. But then there are people who have been given cancellation notices from their company because their company is dropping them, who will now have to go on. And there's a distinction that the president made today about the type of people that will be able to keep their plan, because it's only those who are on the individual market. So again, the thing about Congressman Upton's bill is it holds the president true to the promise that he made the American people. What the president came out today and did was a lot of weaving with respect to trying to nuance
But here's the problem, Sean. What happens to future people who get cancellation notices? I mean, we're talking only about, not like it's only, but 5 million Americans. There are a lot of experts in this industry who say that when Obamacare continues to roll out, there are going to be a lot more people getting those notices. So then what is the president going to do?
Well, I think part of today for the president, as again, what you guys have been talking about, is this whole notion of 2014. What they're really trying to do at this point is get those red state Democrats beyond the next election. They're not really trying to fix this. They're not really trying to uphold the promise that they made of allowing you to stay on the plan that you liked. What they're doing is trying to get the red state Democrats that are walking away from this, that are saying it's a bad idea, that are trying to distance themselves, a way to say, guys, we can punt this. If you listen very carefully, next year is election year.
But here's the thing, Sean. But here's the thing. Those red state Democrats immediately, sooner than Republicans today, put out press releases and called press conferences like Mary Landrieu. Listen to this.
My bill is a permanent solution. We're going to be working to see how that can be shaped to make it real, hold the promise, and support the Affordable Care Act.
So she's not going away. And either is Senator Udall, Senator Merkley. I mean, there's a whole list of them, Senator Manchin probably. There's a whole list of them who immediately came out and said, well, thanks very much, President, but it's not enough.
Well, the interesting, Gretchen, is you recall 3 weeks ago, Republicans were being accused of shutting down government. You can't undo a law. This is the law of the land. And then today, the president walks out and through one press conference says, I'm going to make the following changes. So when Republicans try to do it constitutionally and legally, legislatively through the process that's laid out, that's a problem. When the president and Democrats try to do it by executive order, apparently that's a totally different deal. But the irony of listening to some of these Democrats, like the clip that you just played from Senator Landrieu, was they weren't on board when we were trying to fix this a couple weeks ago. They were calling us that we were shutting down the government, we were holding people hostage. Today, they're putting themselves out as common sense, legislators, which I find a bit ironic.
It is the height of hypocrisy, especially since every single Democrat voted for this bill, but now they want to change it. Go figure. Sean Spicer, thanks so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you, Gretchen.
On Twitter.